YouTube, what is good? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to actually increase your AOV and optimize your website to 2x revenue, okay? This is a really good video that I haven't done yet. One of the most requested, I would say, is how to actually increase your AOV and truly be able to optimize your website to just make more money, right? At the end of the day, I do organic dropshipping. If you're watching this video, you most likely are doing organic dropshipping, and we don't have the best conversion rate, right? So at the end of the day, we have to make sure that every single session that we get, we need to try and squeeze as much money as possible. And so in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I've been able to 2x, even 3x my revenue for myself and even my students to where we're getting like $300 orders, $500 orders, etc., and truly just making the most out of every single session. So if you don't have a pen and paper, go ahead and start writing some notes down, because I'm about to absolutely cook. And just make sure you retain this information, because again, it doesn't make sense for you to watch this video if you don't implement these strategies. Okay, so let's go ahead and get straight to it. So in this video, right, I'm going to be showing you how to actually build a product page or an actual offer, right, that goes beyond the typical organic dropshipping offer of like get 25% off, right? We're going to go a lot deeper than that. Also, I'm going to be breaking down exactly the apps I personally use to increase my AOV for my brand, for my dropshipping products, and also some automations and systems to make free money in the back end. Again, this might be a little bit more advanced when it comes to the automations, because you would ideally need to get a lot of sessions on a daily basis to make the most out of these. But we're going to be going through like beginner and even advanced kind of strategies. But really, I want to tell you, right, this shit actually freaking works. So this is one of my students. His name is Mark. He's been getting insane orders. As you guys can see, he's getting $563 orders, $787 orders, and 1K days off of 4 orders, bro. It's absolutely insane. And this is what I would call AOVmaxxing, right? And this shit actually works. So if you watch this whole entire video and actually pay attention, you might just make some more money, right? So before we get into the nitty gritty, we have to kind of know something, right? We have to know the difference between an unoptimized website and a optimized website, right? So to know something is really good, we have to take a look at the bad. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at your typical organic dropshipping store. This is just going to be a random advent calendar. It's called Rockers Advent. And as you guys can see, it's pretty basic. I think this guy even just gave up. It's completely sold out, but pretty basic stuff here. Nothing too crazy. Bro is literally missing pictures, and this just looks like it was AI generated on ChatGPT. So yeah, this is the baseline right now for organic dropshippers, and I'm not really surprised because no one really talks about this stuff. So I don't blame the guy. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at a optimized website. And again, something that I tell all of you on this channel is to study the greats, right? Obviously, this is not a organic brand, but it's a multi-7-figure just e-commerce brand, right? And at the end of the day, when it comes to these paid ad people, they have to make the most out of every single session, because they're actually, putting some ad spend behind their advertising, right? So at the end of the day, you guys can see this is a totally just a game changer, night and day difference, even down to the pictures. That's insane. How could you possibly add that? But at the end of the day, you guys can see that this guy has like really good bundles. We're going to talk about the bundles and the offers a little bit later, but I just want to show you the difference. Like, it's insane, night and day, testimonials, percentages. We got all sorts of stuff, right? And again, looks really professional. We have reviews. And at the end of the day, this is really what it should look like as an organic dropshipper. But I don't know why. For some reason, people don't really tap into this stuff. And it makes me even think like, wow, I don't know. Like, we have to really start taking this a little bit seriously to get the highest amount of return, because you could just see the difference here. It's absolutely insane. And this is really what's going to make the difference. All right, so now we're going to take a look at offers, right? And I'm going to be showing you 2 different examples of 2 organic dropshipping products right here. So we have our Rockers Advent that I showed you before, and then we also have a Stranger Things bracelet. And as you guys can see, there's a big difference in the initial offer that the customer is seeing. So let's go over Rockers Advent first. So as you guys can see, Rockers Advent, starting from the top, is selling his Advent calendar for like $36, right? If they buy one. And you guys can see here that it says sale, but we don't even see a strike through price. So we don't even know how much we're saving, what the original price was. So off the bat, it's not looking too good. Additionally, he does have a little bit of a credibility here, which is super easy to do. And he also has a bundle, right? So he has a bundle for 1 Advent, 2, and 3. And each individual upsell, right? Each individual bundle has a, percentage off essentially, right? And you guys can see that for 2 advent calendars, he's saving $5, right? So €5. And then for 3 advent calendars, you're saving €10. And at the end of the day, this is really not going to incentivize anyone to take multiple advent calendars just by saving $5. Like realistically, the $10 off should have been placed on the second offer right here. But again, this guy doesn't really know better. And that's really where the space is at the moment. Like people, especially in the organic dropshipping space, aren't really looking at this stuff. Also, we have a little bit of urgency here, right? Only 7 units left in stock. So again, that's pretty good, but again, not quite enough. And then we have some trust icons, which is super standard, and a FAQ. Nothing really incentivizing me to go ahead and pull the trigger on any of these, to be completely honest. He's not offering any sort of upsells, free stuff, and really just crazy discounts. At the end of the day, this is just super, super basic, and this is really not going to work. So now let's take a look at how it should look like. And as you guys can see here, we have the Stranger Things bracelet. And starting from the top, right, we have some benefits kind of talking about our product. So with that handmade quality, we also have a 30% discount right off the rip. So people are saving about 30%, even if they just buy one singular bracelet, right? Then we have the second upsell right here, the second bundle and the third bundle. And let's kind of break down the little mini upsells first. So we have the first upsell here, which is going to be that warranty, right? And again, it's only $3.96. And guys, most people always take this stuff, bro. People love 30-day warranties when it comes to really every single product, especially, high ticket, high perceived value type products like jewelry. They'll always take that 30-day warranty most of the time. We also have upsell number 2 here, which is going to be priority handling and fast shipping. Quick little tip here, if you guys want to change the wordage, because it's super important now in Q4 since we're about to hit Christmas, you would ideally want to say, get it before Christmas rather than just saying fast shipping, right? So just change the wordage to more of a festive type of vibe. Now, we're also getting free stuff, right? We're getting that free alphabet necklace, that free Friends Don't Lie ring, and a free mystery box if people go ahead and take 3, right? And a very important thing about free stuff is that you want to make sure that it's complementary to the main item. So as you guys can see, this is a Stranger Things bracelet, and these are great complementary pieces to go with the product, right? We have a necklace, a ring, and a mystery box, right? And again, these items should be very, very, very cheap to source, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense to upsell or give anything for free if it's going to cost you too much money. So again, these necklaces and these rings are probably costing him like either $3 to $5, and he's going ahead and offering it for absolutely free because it probably makes sense for him, right? Additionally, with the mystery box, bro, you can add anything. It could be as simple as stickers, and it's going to be literally just free money in your pocket. I've done mystery boxes for like $15 where I've only added like stickers, a couple keychains that really costed like less than $10, and I was able to make an additional $10 profit from that order, right? But he's offering it for absolutely free. So he must be adding something super cheap, probably stickers. Okay. And lastly, we have a desired outcome here. So when people place that order on the 16th or whenever they, get it, they'll be getting it in, less than 10 days. And by November 23rd, they will get their package. So again, really important to add this specific piece right here, especially now for Christmas, because people are typically buying their Christmas presents now on Black Friday. So definitely important to, add this to your website to make sure that like, hey, you're going to get it before Christmas. Don't worry, but you have to order today, right? Also, product pictures are pretty decent. Again, this is probably ripped off Ali. If I was this guy, I would add a little bit more of like a branded touch. So I would probably add a logo right here just to add a little bit more credibility onto the brand. But that's kind of what's going on right here. Also, additionally too, this second upsell or bundle, it's cool, right? Like you have these little mini upsells that you can go ahead and do, but I would go ahead and maybe offer something for free right here as well. Because not only are you able to save on, 2 bracelets, but I would go ahead and add maybe something that already comes with the product. And so this is what I call, the new unpatched glitch. So essentially what you do is you take a look at the packaging of the product and you ask yourself, okay, what does this bracelet come with, right? We're going to use the example here. Usually bracelets, jewelry, etc., come with some sort of box. So what you could do is literally upsell the box, right, for free, even though it already comes with the package. So it doesn't matter if they order 1 bracelet or 3 bracelets, they're still going to get that wooden box, right? So even just adding that simple touch of being like, hey, you're going to get the free premium box, maybe on the second upsell right here, is going to make people pull the trigger, because when people see the word free, right? They love free. Everyone loves free shit, right? And again, that's going to be a little bit of a glitch here, right? So always think about the product, right? What does it actually come with? And almost try to market, whether it's a charger, box, something as an upsell, right? So a good example right here is going to be the RetroView mini camera. And these cameras already come with the C charger, the white strap, the wrist strap, the 16 gigabytes of SD, and a mini camera power bank, right? This already comes with the product, right? So what I would do if I was RetroView is, first and foremost, I would go ahead and add some bundles, right? For the people that maybe want to purchase multiple cameras, but I would actually add these for absolutely free to each individual upsell. Most importantly, the second and the third one, not the first one, to be like, hey, this is all the stuff that you're getting for free. This is a no-brainer. Take my offer. And then boom, you made something out of nothing. And this is how you really be resourceful. This is how you actually be as resourceful as possible with the products that you're selling, because at the end of the day, most people aren't resourceful, which is why they can't really craft a good offer at the end of the day. So yeah, definitely run this. It's unpatched right now, completely untapped too. Not a lot of people are doing this, and it works every freaking time. But yeah, obviously there's a huge difference between the first offer and the second offer right here. And I can tell you right now, this guy's making a lot more money just because of these systems that he has in place, as well as these little mini upsells, right? So like I said, going back to the mini upsells, 30-day warranty is amazing. Priority handling is amazing, right? Another one you can do is like secure shipping, right? Or shipping protection. At the end of the day, they always take that, but it has to make sense to the product, right? You can't add shipping protection to like a digital product. Doesn't make sense, right? But at the end of the day, 99% of the products that you're going to be running on organic, you could do all these upsells, right? And again, it's that little push, bro, that's going to get people to, buy your product. That little word, that free freaking word, bro, like, just say free more, and I promise you, like, people are going to buy. Now we're gonna go ahead and talk about the apps that I personally use to increase my AOV and just make more money, right? So the first one I'm gonna talk about is Kaching Bundles. Also, I wanna say I'm not affiliated with anyone. There's no link in bio to like use my code, nothing. This is just truly something that I personally use. These are all the apps. And again, they're not paying me a single cent for any of this. So this is a non-biased type of thing. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Kaching Bundles. So with Kaching, on one of my big stores, I was able to generate almost $5,000 just from using these quantity breaks / bundles that you guys see right here. This is Kaching. By the way, this is how it kind of looks. And this is how you're actually able to craft these bundle deals. Additionally, you want to make sure you have cart upsells. So when people add items to cart, you want to make sure that you're upselling them on, small items, complimentary items, and even like shipping protection, right? And this is when you want to use Upcart, right? And again, Upcart has allowed me to make an additional 1K just by, doing this, right? Upcart and Kaching are not free. I think they do free trials, whatever. But if you're making money already, you might as well just take these, like just add them to your store, see how they do. Because most likely, bro, they're gonna bang. They do amazing, they do phenomenal. Also, we're gonna go through reviews, right? I personally use Luke's. It is quite expensive, I'm not gonna lie. But once you're actually getting consistent sales, this is by far the best thing ever, right? Because you're actually able to request reviews from customers that purchase. So when people add their email when they purchase, they get sent a request after like 2 days, or not 2 days, but like 2 weeks after they purchase. So ideally, once they get their product, they will go ahead and get an email regarding, hey, can you go ahead and send us a review, whether it's a photo request or a video request. Everything is kind of automated in the back end, right? So as you guys can see, I sent about 1,600 requests, right? And I was able to collect 286, right? And out of those 286, 132 were photos and video reviews, which is insane at a 46% conversion. It's really freaking good. And again, these photos and video reviews can be used as ads, right? They could be used as testimonials on your highlights, etc. And it's really good credibility to show the people like, hey, we're legit. And again, this is all automated through Luke. So that's what I personally use. It's been a crazy game changer because also apart from that, you could even upsell people when they're sent these requests, right? Or if you really wanted to, what I personally do is when I request a photo image, right? I go ahead and give them like 10% on their next order. But if it's a video review, I go ahead and give them 25% to really incentivize them to go ahead and just show me a video, because a video is always going to be better than a photo. You know what I'm saying? But you got to offer them something. So now we're going to talk about more of the advanced stuff, the automations and the back ends, right? So we're going to go through pre and post upsells. So this is what I use. It's called one-click upsell. And essentially, I've only been using it for a little bit, but I've been able to generate, $713 simply from these pre and post upsells, right? So literally free money in the front end and the back end. So let me go ahead and show you an example here. So we're gonna go through a pre-purchase upsell first. This is night operators. They started with organic, but now they're scaling with like paid ads, but they actually have a pre-purchase in place. And this is simply just a shipping insurance. If you guys don't know, these guys are selling like NVG goggles, so night vision goggles, for really expensive, and they go ahead and upsell you the moment you add to cart with the shipping insurance. So it's about $20 to ensure that, you know, your goggles are gonna get safe to your house. But at the end of the day, right, if you're not really rocking with a high ticket item, I typically like to upsell a very low ticket complementary item. So for example, if you're selling a product under the F1 niche that has to do, let's say an advent calendar, right? You can go ahead and pre-purchase them, right, with a keychain that has to do with F1. That's really not going to cost you much. The cost of goods should be really, really low to do this. And you can go ahead and squeeze more money out of them, because you got to think, right? Consumer psychology. When people purchase something off your website, this is going to be the most vulnerable time in the whole entire customer journey, is when they're adding to cart and they're ready to put their cart details in. And so why not try and squeeze more money out of them when they're so prone into buying? And so this is why it's really important to go ahead and implement pre-purchases, but only if you have a complimentary item that's not really going to cost you too much, to maybe squeeze a couple more bucks out of this order, right? Now, another example that I'm going to go ahead and show you here is going to be a post-purchase. And the cool thing about post-purchases is that you can actually set up different sequences. So essentially, when someone purchases, they get automatically redirected into another product page, right? And essentially, what I like to do is 2 different sequences, right? So the first sequence is going to be a limited time, you know, one in a lifetime offer. And this is essentially, again, this could be a complimentary item that's a little bit more high ticket, or simply just another item that they went ahead and picked for like maybe half off, right? So this person here did 35% savings with this special one-time offer. And then essentially they can either go ahead and take it, and the second they pay now, it automatically charges their card. There's no friction in between this. So the second they click pay now, boom, immediately you get that $25 purchase. But let's say they went ahead and they actually took it, right? So boom, you have an additional $25, but then we hit them with another sequence, right? And again, last chance, you actually can save 50% off this other Rose Bear, right? This other, product that they were selling, and you only have 2 minutes this time to take it. And most of the time, people will actually take the other sequence as well. And so this can actually give you like an additional $40 to $50 on top of what, you know, your order originally was, just by adding these post-purchase upsells. And the really cool thing about it, right, is that, like, let's say the person didn't really like sequence 1, right? They just said, nope, I hate this. I don't want this enchanted rose. They will still get redirected into the other sequence, right, the Rose Bear, to actually give them another chance to buy something, right? And this is when you would go ahead and offer that 50% off. So that's why this person added 50% off as opposed to only 35, right? To, you know, make sure that if they didn't pick the first sequence, they would immediately get, you know, this other really good offer. And again, adding that scarcity right there, you only have 2 minutes to get 50% off, which is obviously not true, but you know, that's how you kind of redirect somebody from maybe, you know, a MIDI offer to a very good no-brainer offer, and, you know, really squeeze more money out of them, right? So this is the really cool thing about post purchases. I made a lot more money through the post rather than the pre, because like I said, once someone buys and they already added their card details, if it makes sense and checks out, right? I'm talking about the offer and the price of whatever you're selling, they're most likely gonna take it, right? So if I were to give you some tips here, you wanna pick a product that isn't too high ticket, that is a no-brainer to take, which is usually going to be a complementary item. So another item that has to do with that specific niche that would fit perfectly with the product that they originally bought, right? So yeah, that's going to be the post-purchase and the pre-purchase. Now we're going to go through some email marketing and flows. So I personally like to use Klaviyo. Again, I'm not even sponsored. I wish I was so I can get paid for this, but essentially I've almost made 14 grand this year for free, right? Like, this is just free money that comes from the flows, right? So an additional 14 grand in profit just by setting up some simple email marketing in the back end, right? So essentially, if you guys take a look right here, I've made majority of my money with my email flows, apart from the emails that I personally send and SMS text messages, and sometimes some campaigns when I do certain drops, right? But it's insane, bro. Like, I've literally been able to make 12 grand simply from these flows. And you guys are probably wondering, what the hell are flows? So let me go ahead and show you. So essentially what a flow is an automation, right, that you set up in the back end. But the only way you can set up these flows is actually by collecting emails, right? So Essentially, you would hit the person with a welcome offer like this, and you would ask, hey, what's your email, right? And obviously, this is another ecom brand. It's like the Lung Tank. But one thing that they're missing out on a lot is that SMS collection. They only have an email flow, right? And what I would have done if I was Lung Tank, again, another 7-figure brand, is add like another sequence after this pop-up. So let's say they put in their email, they get 15% off. I would then redirect them to another pop-up, but hey, get an additional 25% off if you go ahead and add your phone number, because it's always best to, collect someone's phone number rather than email, because when you get that text message, you're always going to check your phone. Most of the time, when you send emails to people or offers, right, it's just going to go straight to, junk. And not a lot of people, check their email as frequently as, their phone, their text messages, right? So going back to the sequence, right, like I said, this is all an automation that you can set up with Klaviyo. And essentially what I do is I have these triggers, right? So the first trigger is going to be when someone checks out, right? When they start that checkout process, 10 minutes later, they get hit with a 5% discount, right? So obviously this is for abandoned cart. So this is actually when someone reached checkout, but didn't quite pull the trigger and just immediately left the website, right? So 10 minutes immediately after that process, they get hit with that 5% discount saying, hey, right, whatever the first name is, something happened in your order. Here's an additional 5% discount to, incentivize you to buy. Let's say they don't take the 5% discount. Then 3 hours later, we hit them with another reminder saying, hey, are you there? And then we go ahead and give them another an additional 5% discount on top of the 5, so 10% discount total to get them through the door. And then lastly, let's say they actually do not take the 3-hour, reminder. We actually hit them up 21 hours later, right? So almost a full 24 hours later with another 10% discount saying, hey, you have this product left in your cart. Go ahead and check out right here, right? So obviously not a big difference in the actual offer, but again, it's really important to be able to remind these people that, hey, this is still in your cart. Here's a little bit of a discount to kind of push you through. And, a lot of the times this 100% works. And this actually works a lot better with that SMS sequence. So I actually have the same identical sequence right here, but instead of email, right, I send them an SMS text message. And bro, this works so much better because they're not necessarily getting spammed by text messages, but when they see that text, we're like, okay, I'm getting an additional 5% discount, then another 10% discount. And then I see it again, dude, they always freaking take it. And that's why it's super crucial to not only offer a email collection sequence, right, but also a SMS collection, right? Because SMS is always going to be a lot higher converting, but there's a lot more friction when it comes to somebody putting in their phone number on a random website they found on TikTok, right? But at the end of the day, you want to be able to offer both and actually incentivize people to take the SMS offer. So what I personally do is I do like a 25% off offer the second they put in their phone number. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to be it. We went through all the apps that I use to go ahead and increase my AOV, as well as like the back end and the front end revenue of all my businesses. And again, this is just like transparent. I'm not getting paid by anyone. And this is the type of shit that actually works. There's so many other apps out there, but these are like the 1, 2, 3, like the 5 that I actually use on every single store once I'm looking to scale and really just squeeze out as much money as possible, right? Also, we went through the offers, right? Making a very good, tasty offer when it comes to organic dropshipping because it's super overlooked, right? Us organic dropshippers were so focused on the marketing aspect, picking winning products, but we're never really tapping into the offers, right? And how could you not? Our CVR is already low enough. So when it's that low, right? Because typically with organic, we're looking at like 1 to 2%. We need to make the most out of every single customer that goes to our website. And so when you have these offers in place, these systems, right, you're going to get a high return out of each individual session. Because at the end of the day, this is e-commerce, bro, and we're in prime Q4, so people are just buying so much product off the internet at the moment. And again, they're so much more prone to buying shit. And this stuff like actually works, right? Like for my boy Mark here, I think he just did like a 20K week. But you guys can see like these crazy orders that he's getting. I mean, let's just even take a look at the Discord. I mean, dude, we've been absolutely ripping. Like today is the 28th. It's currently Black Friday. Chris right here doing a $600 in first 12 hours of going live. We have Mark here, 1K day while being sick. We have Miles with his first ever sale. Javier with 6.5K in 5 days. Mark again, he did 20K in a week here, insane, while playing Clash Royale, typical Clash Royale goon. And then we have Pedro doing 10K in 7 days, like insane, bro. We have Javier again at 1.4K, Mark with a $787 order. Everyone's just printing. Jacob with his first ever order. everyone's just going crazy. Pedro with a 2K day, Joey with a calm 6 figs last 30 days. Like, it's insane. And this proves to you guys that this actually works. Like, take a look at those average order values. But yeah, guys, that's going to be the video for today. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like. Also, drop me some feedback. Comment the word AOV if you made it this far. I want to see how many people actually got to the end of the video. And also, guys, if you guys do want to join the inner circle and get personally coached one-on-one by me personally, you guys can go ahead and apply in the description below and see if you're a right fit. But other than that, I hope to see you soon. And also, good luck this last month of the year, man. This is December time. This is by far the best month when it comes to Q4 and truly making the most out of organic dropshipping. So yeah, good luck with that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.